All I want any recruiter to know is that I'm so much more than just my resume.
LOL! Come on! We both know that all these recruitment platforms are only designed for the companies to get what they want.
They don't care about candidates like us. Not all, buddy. Have you heard of TAG?
Karan Roy, data scientist. Tag score 96%. Interesting.
That's me. And thanks to TAG, now she knows all about my functional, behavioral, technical, and all other relevant skills. Tagged indeed is a game changer for me. When I signed up for it, it created this structured, validated, and enriched profile mapped across my numerous skills, knowledge base, and work experience, and created a score. My tagged score. The score and profiling help me present my best professional version to any employer. They can easily find what they need, and if I'm the right fit, my profile shows up instantly. This way, TAG not only helps candidates like me land their dream jobs, but also figure out where they stand amongst their peers, and also identify the areas they need to work on.
Wow, this is just the kind of candidate I need. I like how detailed his profile is. Should I even interview this guy?
See? This is how TAG is bringing clarity, communication, and dignity back for us candidates. It also gives me an access to a community of peers, career circles, thousands of jobs, and marquee employers like her to further aid my career growth. Are you kidding me? Did you just get hired within minutes?
Great. So let's start. Good evening and welcome, friends. Thank you so much for joining us for the 22nd episode of our Career Circles Live. My name is Naved Falak and I'll be your host for today's session. As you all know, Career Circles are exclusive talent communities by TAG, where talented professionals like each one of you, industry mentors, peers, recruiters, industry leaders connect and we discuss and delve into conversations which are open-ended, and we bring the best minds and mentors from the industry to share the latest trends, and it helps in shaping up the professional career life. So, friends, without further ado, like you already know, today's session is with reference to deep diving into Mahindra's last mile mobilities, technology, and innovation. And we are honored to have distinguished leaders from one of the India's foremost automobile manufacturing companies. Please welcome me in joining them. We have Anisha Saluja, who leads HR for Last Mile Mobility. Welcome, Anisha. Anisha carries around 11 years of experience in talent management, capability building, and HR business partnering. Welcome, Anisha.
Thanks, Naved. Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Sure. And we have Mr. Vijay Ganti, who is the head of product planning. He carries over 15 years of experience into strategic product planning, market strategy, and EV product development. Welcome, Mr. Vijay.
Thanks, Naved. Hi, everybody. Good evening.
Also, we have with us Mr. Philip Jose, who's the head of product development. He carries around 20 plus of years experience into engineering, designing, and developing electric powertrain systems. So, welcome all of you. I'm really excited and looking forward for a great and exciting session. If my colleague Ojasvi can show a video. So we have a video with reference to last mile mobility. Going forward, friends, I'll be calling last mile mobility as LMM. So just keep a note of that. Ojasvi, you can showcase the video. Wow, that was something, Anisha, Philip, and Vijay. It was a journey in itself. Do you want to talk about what is LMM exactly? When we saw the video, also a brief about what is LMM for our viewers, Anisha.
Sure. Thanks, Naved. While the video actually did capture the entire journey, but it's an organization which, at least I've seen in the last 2 years, really grow from a small unit to a large scale organization, high paced growth, and something which works towards serving the end customer's need, right? Electrifying the last mile truly, and it's the largest electric three-wheeler player in the country. An organization which has tremendous growth and career opportunities for everybody out there. And you get to work with a fantastic peer group. And I think a lot more will come in when we do conversations about the business. That's really the theme for today. But truly a place to really learn and grow is what I'll say.
Absolutely. Thank you for that brief. I'm really excited about the session. So, Anisha, I'll not go with the hiring landscape first. As we saw, LMM is more towards tech and innovation. So, Philip, starting the conversation from you. Next 40 to 50 minutes will be very exciting, where we will dwell into conversations related to LMM and how it is shaping careers. Also, the theme will be we'll take questions from the audience, our live viewers, which will be posted on LinkedIn Live. So I'll be asking you those in between. So friends, feel free to put up your questions to Philip, Anisha, and Vijay, and we'll be happy to take up your questions. So Philip, first question to you: what do you think are the most exciting technological changes, right, currently being tackled by LMM? LMM, especially product development division. Philip, you are on mute.
Yeah. As the video showed, we are in the business of making livelihood vehicles. So the most important challenge we face or we are actually tackling is to make these vehicles affordable and reliable for the customers. Because a, a vehicle down off the road for a day is the loss of a day's salary, a day's income for the customer, right? For her, and that's important for her. And so we look at every aspect of the vehicle in terms of how it operates, how how things can fail during operation, how the things can cause inconvenience to the customer, to the driver, and look at all those aspects to make sure that those things are all sorted so that the customers earn the livelihood. At the same time, we don't want to gold plate our systems, right? So the constant tension, the constant debate, and the kind of excitement within the organization or the PD organization to get this to reliability versus cost equations, square up, and that's the fundamental challenge. The second is, of course, how the vehicle interacts with the environment. The charging system, for that matter, the way the vehicle charges, the Indian grid is very punishing and very demanding in terms of reliability and against voltage transients. Second is the overall environment, the temperature, the humidity, the kind of rains and flooding which we have. Our vehicle need to sustain or survive all these these environmental challenges and still behave economically for the customer. And the other, of course, how we integrate the vehicles with the cloud infrastructure. I mean, our vehicles are actually already connected, so a lot of data goes from the vehicle to the cloud. But then the question is, how is the data, how the quality of data going to the cloud? How is the data used to give insight to the customers or the owners of how the vehicle is performing? Each of them, when you go to details, have a lot of challenges in terms of data integrity, quality of data. So all that stuff is actually being worked together at the product development here.
I guess we lost Philip. Ojasvi, if you can just check. Philip, are we
Can
audible
you
to
still
you?
see me?
Yeah, yeah. Now I can hear you, but I guess there's some network disturbance. We can hear you, Philip. You're audible.
So what I was saying was that the third aspect is the interaction of the vehicle with the cloud in terms of the data which goes from the vehicle to the cloud, how the data is processed, and the insights from the data is passed on to the customer or the owner, how to maximize the revenue, or how to maximize the uptime, or how to maximize the life of the battery, etc. So all these are actually the tackle what the challenges we tackle at product development here.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much for these insights. And Philip, hold on. I'll just bring in Vijay along with you.
Yeah.
When we were talking about tech and innovation, Vijay and Philip, we talk about engineers and designers, right? They are a major part of the function. Philip and Vijay, a question to both of you. How is LMM ensuring that collaboration and integration is there between these two, what should I call it, function skills? Maybe how LMM ensuring that a cultivating environment is there in terms of innovation and collaboration, because these two are different and difficult functions or skill sets, how you want to call it.
Yeah. So again, we have a very collaborative work environment at LMM, in the sense the senior management actively encourages cross discussions, loud discussions sometimes, and that's okay because we want divergent viewpoints to come in. Every voice is counted, and we try to bring in the best of all these ideas into our products, and we actually encourage people of different skill sets to work, for example, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, electrochemical engineers, or electrochemists, to work together on a common problem and come out with the solution which addresses all the aspects of the problem together. So yeah, so that's the way we work here, and that's the way we encourage people to come together and work in our organization. Okay?
Vijay, I'm not looking for a different answer because you work in only one function in company. Your views on this?
Yeah, so the other while the culture aspect is what Philip said, which we of course want to foster that. The most important aspect is, innovation cannot be done for innovation's sake, right? And that's
Yeah.
what we truly believe in. So
Absolutely.
we believe in relevant innovation. So when I mean relevant innovation, there are real problems that have to be solved for the customers. Like Philip started the whole introduction with. There are real problems for our in the last mile mobility space, and there are multiple ways that this problem could be solved. And hence what we actively do is we encourage our engineers, right, who are working on solutions, to interact with the customers. We have frequent customer check-ins, we have field visits together with them. So we, in the product planning functions or the front end functions, we take these engineers along, so that they, like a day in a life of an auto driver, right? What are his or her problems that they are facing, right? Maybe his or her neck is paining, your wrist is paining, and hence how could you solve this problem by the way of technology? And I think that's what is differentiating at LMM, wherein we try to focus on solving real world problems, and hence it's exciting for all of us. And of course, collaboration then automatically comes in, because you are really wanting to solve a problem together for the customer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much. So this is all for the engineers and designers who are listening to the conversation. Thank you so much, Philip and Vijay. Anisha, a question, I guess, which is anticipated by the viewers, and they might be waiting eagerly for this. And I want Philip also to answer that. Any specific skills, Anisha, and what kind of experience you are looking for candidates, specifically in the PD domain? Anything in general, maybe, or any specific skills you're looking for in candidates? Philip and
So,
Anisha.
Navid, thanks, and I think this is one of the most anticipated question. Um, See, for LMM, right, as a growing organization in itself, I mean, I'm looking for people across product development and planning, supply chain, manufacturing, quality, finance, HR, sales, service, marketing, you name it all. We are really looking for like good talent across these functions, and we hire across the year, and we are really growing. So talent is one of the key pillars of our organization's growth, right? But given specific question about product development, right, I mean, we are looking for engineers, both freshers and people with work ex, right? So bachelor's, master's, PhD, and functions which are very core to our business, right, are R&D, mechanical engineers, electrical electronics, computer science, and even related domains like mechatronics, etc. From an industry point of view, largely the appreciated experience will be auto and ancillary, OEMs, tier one suppliers, or some skills are across fungible across industries. Like for example, computer engineers. Those are fungible talent across many industries and may not really be just auto, but that's from an industry point of view. But I also want to bring in an aspect beyond functional skills, right? There's certain, for all these young engineers who want to come and work in the R&D setup, there are also certain key behavioral skills which will help them succeed, and which is something that we look for, which is, like curiosity to learn and try new things. I mean, a lot of innovation happens in our R&D space, and we want people who have the curiosity to learn, to make an impact, really want to look at end customers need and work towards solving that from an R&D perspective, right? They're passionate about autos and EVs, highly self motivated in their own way of working, and of course, something which I always tell people and they don't compromise is very high standards of ethics and governance, right? I mean, these are some of the skills, and Philip, you can please come in and add.
Yeah. So what we do here, we make the vehicles, but also we make the things inside the vehicle. For example, the power electronic devices, the motor controller, the charger, the DC-DC, anything which thinks in the vehicle, we want to have a direct control over the design of that. So we do design of power electronic systems within the vehicle. We design most of the vehicle aggregates, the suspension system, the chassis systems, the dashboard, the you name it, the body in white. So all the vehicle aggregates are actually designed in house, and of course we have a lot of software work in terms of we develop our own software for the motor control, for the battery management, for the vehicle control, for the telematics as well. So all these engineers who come in are working on both components inside the vehicle as well as the whole vehicle itself. And what we emphasize is to bring in a knowledge and a viewpoint of the system as a whole. When the system, you're looking at all the aspects together: the mechanical, the electrical, the signal integrity aspects, the control aspects, the heat transfer, the mass transfer. We look at the problem as a whole, and we would expect different domain engineers to come together and solve the problem as a whole. And that's a kind of the skill sets and the kind of outlook we expect the people to come on board to work for.
Sure, insightful. And Anisha, thanks for reminding me. My question was focused towards skills in PD domain. I almost forgot that we do sales hiring as well. So this is for the viewers that we do
We do
sales.
all the hiring, right? Now we also do manufacturing, supply chain, and quality as well. We do R&D, then front end sales service across the functions.
So, Anisha, when we talk about engineering and designing, it came to my mind. We already know, and Philip and Vijay, you are also involved in the question. You see, automotive is going towards a trend where we are focusing more on gender diversity, right? And being closely working with Anisha and Mahindra, I know that Mahindra is a equal opportunity provider, right? What is your take with females getting into LMM? And first question, and I'll have a second question along with it. What are the growth opportunities, Anisha, when a person joins in an LMM, be it at any grade? Maybe you can give some examples. So this is for everyone and specific to Anisha. The diversity one for Philip and Vijay specifically, and the growth opportunity one with Anisha.
Sure.
Um, Go on,
Yeah,
Philip. Go on.
so for gender diversity, yes, what Navid says is very correct, and we actively encourage a diverse viewpoint, diverse gender, diverse regions, and as I explained earlier, the collaborative work culture helps people to come together and work together. For example, uh, we know today that increasing number of women are actually buying our products. We have up to a tenth of our customers are actually women. And what we've done today is that all the jury trials, all the subjective evaluations for the vehicles, we will have 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 members as women who actually give candid feedback on what is going well with the vehicle, what is not going well with the vehicle, whether it's economics, whether it's comfort, or any specific function of the vehicle which is a positive or a negative feeling or a thinking which imparts to the women as a driver. So we do that kind of inclusive focus on developing our products for the customers, and a lot of our engineers are actually women. I mean, when it comes to electrical engineering software, we do have women participation in the engineering domain who actually creates the vehicles for our customers in the way they want it. So we do have an active focus on inclusivity in our product development function.
Sure, Vijay. Sure, Anisha.
Yeah.
I,
So,
I guess answered on the diversity part. Basically, you can. I want to know from you mostly on the growth opportunities, or if you want to add on with the diversity, it will be great. But some examples where career opportunity or growth path is there in LMM when a person is joining LMM.
right.
And yeah, there is just a disclaimer, Anisha. You can add on to the diversity part.
Sure. No, I did want to add one point, and I think one is, of course, that the way Mahindra has defined inclusion and diversity, right? It's not just limited to gender representation, while of course that's one of the most talked about
Yeah.
topics, and we do have focused efforts towards hiring, sensitization, creating the right culture, creating the right learning space, right? But it's more on diversity of thoughts, diversity of ideas, diversity of perspectives, age, generation, everything, right? So it's looked at from a very holistic lens. And last year specifically, we've put focused efforts. We've always been hiring women in our R&D function, which is head by Philip, and of course in manufacturing quality. And we've had women representation there, but we've put focused efforts in the last 2 years to also hire women in our front end functions. And we now have female employees in our sales and service functions are going on the ground and actually selling our products to customers,
Wow.
right? It's not an easy terrain where you have to
Yeah.
sell last mile products, right? Three wheelers, four wheelers, be it passenger or cargo, to the end customers, and they have been doing it, and they have been doing a really good job. So which actually on this forum, people who are there, it's a big opportunity for us, and we are really looking for people to join us, specifically female folks across the functions that I talked about. But coming to your question on career growth opportunities, right? First thing I want to talk about is that we as a group have an IJP policy, which is internal job posting policy, where it is open to all employees across the functions, across the organizations, across levels and different grades, right? Everybody is free to apply for any opportunity that they feel meets their career aspirations after spending just 1 year in their current role. So people become eligible to apply just after spending 1 year in their current role. Of course, the confirmation happens based on skill set match and availability. That's also an important point. There have to be right roles available, and the skill sets of talent has to match. But we don't stop people from applying and moving in a role of their choice if they have to, right? That's point number one. And specifically for LMM, and let me stick to PD, right? Because of course a lot of the conversations are going on around product development and R&D. We do developmental conversations or career conversations with people. We work with them to create their IDAPs. Last year we did it for a large cohort in our manufacturing and PD function, right? And we map out opportunities for upskilling. We map out potential opportunities for movements, right? And now when I say upskilling and movement, for upskilling part, we have focused development and growth charter for our, let's say, PD function, where we have mapped out skills across the domain, and we have partners with whom we partner to deliver those training programs, right? External partners in house, and we also have something called Edcast, which is our learning experience platform, which has best in class content from many content providers, training on cognitive skills, future skills, electric vehicle knowledge, right? Behavior, leadership skills, etc. So that's also live on the go. They can use it on their phone, etc. And it's self-paced. There are, of course, organization nominated programs, but there's also a lot of self-paced. If I want to learn something, I don't need to ask anybody to find a program for me or nominate or sponsor me. I can just go and do it on my own. We have a lot of certification courses also, which people really appreciate. And from career movement point of view, specifically for, let's say, engineering folks, right? We encourage people to switch between testing jobs to development jobs, or vice versa, or between delivery functions to core engineering COEs, right? So that they can build a holistic perspective on the vehicle, get full view of all parts of the vehicle and not just, just one aspect. And they're able to develop that knowledge. And those opportunities within our PD functions are very high, and we have been doing it. Yeah.
Sure, Anisha. Thanks for the insight. And I've been told by my friend Ojasvi that we have 700 plus attendees, Anisha, right now. So, friends, please feel free to ask any questions. Write in, and Philip, Vijay, and Anisha will be happy to answer. Vijay, I saw you waiting. I have questions for you as well. So, Vijay, when we talk about emerging technologies, right, it is like a curve, right? Technologies keep on changing. Next year we might be seeing some new thing, right? So how does LMM kind of staying ahead of this curve of these emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, maybe machine learning in its vehicles, Vijay?
Yeah, Navit. So, see, rightly said, the technology space has been moving very, very quickly. If you really look back in the last decade itself, or when I look back at my career journey 15 years ago when I started, what I have learned versus what I'm using today, there's a lot of changes, and with increasing time, this is becoming only faster. So, the way we try to stay apace is we ensure that, again, I go back to the problems that we are solving, we solve them with the help of these technologies, so that if you try to pilot a technology without its real usage, then it doesn't really embed into the organization. So I'll give you an example, right? For example, electric vehicles, now all of us, the entire community is talking about it. It's not as it was 5 years ago. Everybody understands what EVs are and what the problems are related with the EVs. So one big problem with the EV is, like in a regular vehicle, today what is the resale value of it, let's say. But in an electric vehicle, you do not know how the battery is. It's still an emerging thing. You do not really understand how much is the battery going to fetch after, let's say, a 5 years or a 10 years. Now, how do you understand this problem? It's pure prediction, right? And hence we try to look at data of how the current usage is, and we apply a relevant technology like in machine learning, where we try to model the battery from both the data aspects and the chemical and the physical aspects of it, make a hybrid modeling, and hence try to do a very good prediction of, hey, today when I sell the vehicle in 2024, in 2030 the same vehicle if driven so and so would be worth so much, right? So that is one way we try to look at relevant problems and try to solve them with the current upcoming technologies. The other way, or the other aspect, like how do we stay ahead? Now, collaboration is the answer there, right? We try to, and as part of my role at product planning, I also take care of EV partnerships. There are many emerging players in India today, right? College pass outs with are coming up with great ideas and coming up with incubator startups. A lot of IITs and institutions today, you see, are having incubators in house, and there are budding ideas everywhere. So we essentially are not very serious of innovating everything in house and trying to solve everything that we can on the earth. So if we really find out a good startup or a good incubator working on a relevant problem on an emerging technology which is very futuristic, let's say somebody is working on autonomous driving, I'm just saying, and then we try to partner with them. We do an MOU kind of a thing. We decide on a technical pilot that this is what we want to do, and then so that we believe will help us stay ahead of the curve. So we are continuously on the scout for both the problems, and of course for people who are solving them with relevant technologies, and do partnerships so that we continuously are ahead of the curve. Right?
Sure, Vijay. Nicely put up. I got both my answers of emerging technology and the collaboration part. Vijay, again coming back to you, Vijay, when we talk about EV or specifically LMM, right? There is a term sustainable mobility, right? Which comes to mind, right? What do you think are the biggest hurdle or challenges, or how LMM is grappling this in terms of developing and implementing sustainable mobility solutions? What is your take and view on this?
Sure. So, like I said, EV, sustainable mobility are very good jargons, right? Which we try to use them a lot, and it's also good to have them on a resume for this for the. But
That's why I said that's
yes, there is
sorry,
there is
Vijay,
an
sorry. Vijay, that's why I said this is the first thing which will come to mind when I will talk about LMM. Yeah,
yeah,
please
yeah.
continue, sir.
So with last mile mobility, we we are very well positioned today. We are the number one market share leader in the EV three-wheeler space in India, and we have done it for two. I mean, in the last financial year that ended, we are at number one, and we are proud to put more than 1.5 lakh vehicles out there on the road. But the problems for this segment, right? EV itself has a lot of problems, but when I want to only specifically talk about the problems that are grappling LMM. So the last mile mobility. To understand the problem, you need to understand our customer. So the customer, like Philip said, are daily bread earners. For them, this vehicle is not a leisure vehicle, like how a moped or a car is for you and me. For this segment of customers, this is a member of their family. It has to run for them to run their living, right? So that means and they are the three-wheeler owners, if you look at, are really at the bottom of the pyramid in terms of the socio-economic profile of how the country is placed. So that means the affordability becomes very, very critical for them, and hence doing frugal innovations is very, very critical. So that is the first biggest challenge for us. I can, if tomorrow some of these engineers join us or my current set of engineers, I can throw a problem to them, and there can be 100 ways of solving it. You can solve a problem in 10,000 rupees, but I would want to solve that problem in 1,000 rupees,
Yeah.
right? Because that is what is relevant for my segment of customers. I cannot afford a very costly solution. So frugality is a very, very important aspect. The second word, or the second important aspect is reliability, right? Like I said, if this vehicle fails on the road, right, you can put in as much technology, and with technology comes a lot of complexity, right? You can marry a battery, a motor controller unit, a telematics gateway, a BMS. Everything is put sit inside a little cute looking three-wheeler, and all of them have to talk together, and they have to run in summer, winter, in rains, in Kashmir, in Kanyakumari, and it shouldn't fail. If it fails for a day, the customer loses 1,000 rupees, 1,200 rupees for that day. And if it is sitting in the workshop for a week, you never know, he might have to drop his school out of the kid out of the school. Sorry. So I think having the product reliability is very, very important, and hence our focus is also a lot on developing these technologies to be frugal and also reliable. So these are the challenges which we are facing, and we are solving them very well.
Sure, sure, Vijay. Very insightful for me and the viewers as well. Philip, coming back to you, we saw a few of the products in the video, right, which we saw initially. Uh, just help me elaborate the role of data analytics and user experience design in creating these LMM products. Just your brief or your view on that. How do you take it, Philip?
Yeah. So data analytics, as I said, ours were one of the first vehicles to be connected in India in terms of network connectivity and cloud connectivity. So we do flow in those insights from the vehicle data into our designs. For example, uh, with the kind of, we have more than 35, 40,000 vehicles connected on the cloud, pouring in data, and we see how the vehicles are being used, what's kind of driving profile, average speeds, maximum speeds, number of hours used per day, how the battery is getting into, what the depth of discharge of the battery every day, and we use that to now help configure new products. First of all, how, what kind of battery sizing we need to have, what level of stress the motor and the battery goes through the day, or on an average basis, and the limit case basis, and that helps us develop more robust products for uh, the new model years and the new context. Also, we also look at the driver behavior. I mean, how the vehicle is being accelerated, how the vehicle is being decelerated, what's the stop time, what's the kind of charging the customers are doing, how many times are they doing full charging of the vehicle, where the balancings also are done, how many times are they doing partial charging. So we are able to now understand the behavior of our customers, how they use the vehicle, and then give insights to them in terms of how to optimally use the vehicle to improve the vehicle availability, and also the range and the battery life. So the entire thing is in a closed loop. Actually, we use the data, we process the data, and give these insights both for us to develop new products and for the customers to use the products in a more optimum way to get the best out of the money they put in.
Sure, sure, Philip, sure. Anish, I would like you to come in along with Philip. Uh, uh, Anisha, Philip, when you see at young engineers or maybe aspiring professionals, right? Not on the technical side, rather, what advice will you give to these young engineers and aspiring professionals who are especially interested in a career in the electric vehicle industry and with LMM, especially?
Right.
Okay. Uh,
Yeah, you go for it,
All
Anisha.
right, Philip. So, Navid, since you said, right, young engineers and like most of our people that we hired are like freshers or with like less experience, may not be in the core electric vehicle domain, right? So, first advice is that there is absolutely no substitute to fundamentals. The fundamentals in these concepts I talked about, mechanical engineering, electrical, electronics, computers, right, mechatronics, etc. The fundamentals have to be really strong because the application of these concepts that they learn in their college and in their little experience, right, is really very high. So that's the first thing that there's no substitute for fundamentals and conceptual knowledge. Second, I think I talked about it in one of the previous questions, is on curiosity. When I talked about few skills that we look for, right? Openness to trying roles across different sub teams is very, very important to get like full vehicle knowledge rather than just one aspect or part of the vehicle, because that's what will really help them develop the experience specifically for the R&D space, right? Another aspect is locational mobility. Um, of course, our R&D team sits out of Bangalore, and then we get a lot of good people, but they're not locationally mobile. And sometimes for work, they have to travel across, right? You have to go to suppliers, etc. So that's very, very important. And another thing is getting hands-on experience, right? Like go to supplier, talk to people, understand the vehicle in and out. That's very important for their own development. And I think lastly, and it sort of summarizes everything, is learning something new every day. That's very important. New trends, what are new updates in the EV space, what are the new norms coming in. All those concepts and all those this tacit knowledge is applicable for roles across the teams actually. So yeah, and Philip, you can add in.
Yeah. So, what I would look forward in the electric vehicle industry in terms of designing these good vehicles are a electric vehicle is simple and complex at the same time. I mean, the mechanical complexity of electric vehicle is much simple compared to IC engine. You don't need the kind of machining and honing and heat treatment and all that stuff which typically goes into an IC engine compared to an EV. But EV is complex in terms of functions. I mean, the of course the vehicle is a more linear component, but it comes with a lot of software intervention needed to operate the motor in the correct zone. The battery needs to be protected. So the complexity of functions give rise to a different set of thinking from the engineer's point of view. As I said earlier, look at the system as a whole. Um, Look at the problem on the multiple dimensions, right? And for that, you cannot do it yourself, but then take help, bring people together, work together as a team, and look at all the dimensions and solve the problem together. So be open to getting new knowledge, be continuously looking out for new skills to learn. Electric engineers, please take courses on mechanical systems. Mechanical engineers understand more of embedded systems, more of electronic systems, and every engineer now looks at no, every other domain to make the problem to solve the problem together. So my advice is look look broadly at the problem and see how multiple dimensions can be uh, handled together in solving the problem.
Sure, Philip. Thank you so much. Anisha, next question to you, and one of my favorite question. I was waiting for this moment only. Just trust me. We all know that our team works very closely with you. And the moment I repost a job, especially to LMO on LinkedIn, I get a lot of messages. And that message, those messages is in relation to the question I asked you. Anisha, how can potential candidates or who want to join LMM, be it the tech division or any sales department, which we're talking about, is there a magic mantra they need to follow, or they need to prepare something to stand out in the application process? How is it? So I can stop receiving those questions and you can answer all the audience right now.
Naved, I don't think you will stop receiving those questions. Let me be very honest there. The minute you post, or I, in fact, sometimes even I post a job, there are tons of comments and questions, and people ask, "Can I apply? What will make my profile more worthy, etc." Um, but okay, let me simplify the answer. Right, there is no magic mantra. First of all, we are looking for people. We're looking for people who want to make an impact. We're looking for people who are willing to learn new things, like try new things, do a lot of innovation. But specifically, let's say R&D or even other functions as well, right? We hire for two key aspects that we look for. One is their conceptual clarity, very important across functions, right? Be it quality, manufacturing, operations, supply chain, R&D, etc. Conceptual clarity is very important for somebody who's coming and doing a job which requires the functional domain knowledge to be very high, right? And then experiential learning that they've done. If somebody has worked in that space, then how have they applied the knowledge? What impact did they create, right? That's part one. Part two, something that I look for is what would they do differently than what is the rest of the lot doing, and that's what makes people stand out. I mean, we hire so many people in sales, etc., right? And everybody has done a fantastic job on growing the market share, delivering numbers. But what initiatives did they take which made that difference, which probably we have not thought of, or how will they do something differently in a very challenging territory, for example, right? That's part two. Another thing, and this is a hygiene, which is like clear CV and authentic CVs, right? I do sometimes get experiences which are not true, or which are not true to the way it has been mentioned. So authenticity in profile in terms of what they've actually done in the core domain has to be there. And of course, people willing to learn and make an impact, that I always mention. So I think this is what I would say that we look for in people and what would make them stand out. But there is no as in secret sauce or magic mantra that I can give a formula.
No, Nisha, it was very clear. Thanks for the clarity. And you rightly said, we won't stop receiving questions, but I hope these questions will stop. I didn't realize, Anisha, Vijay, Philip, it has been 45 minutes and an exciting session it was. I also want to take audience and viewers' questions. Before that, my last question to all three of you. Uh, what are the perks and benefits which are offered to the employees working in LMM specifically? Uh, are they generic in nature when I talk about Mahindra Group, or there is something else for LMM or that is standardized? Philip, Vijay, Anisha, and Vijay,
Um,
I want Vijay to start.
Yeah.
okay.
Sure. So I think I'm sure Anisha and Philip would cover some of the tangible aspects of the perks, right? I would want to, talk about some intangible stuff, right? The perks that are there, and not Mahindra Group. These are really specific to last mile mobility again, because I'm very close to the customers and I keep going back to them. Is somehow it's about after you've been for some years in a job, you at some point in time, all of us in our careers will realize that apart from the perks that are there, there are some the soul satisfaction aspect, right? The purpose of why I'm going to office every day, right? When I wake up in the morning and go to office, what am I trying to do and going there. I think that aspect is very well established for our company, the LMM especially, right? Because, like I said, we are really contributing to not just the environment aspect of it, but also the empowerment aspect of it, the social empowerment that I've spoken about. We are really building a lot of entrepreneurs there. Uh, Women who were household helps earlier are simply quitting their jobs and then buying an auto rickshaw and making their whole livelihood. We meet customers like these, and just believe me, whatever bad day you have, you just go and meet some kind of this customers, you see a smile on their face, you really forget everything else. I think I would really want to emphasize on that aspect. Working at Mahindra last night has these perks of, feeling good about your job, which is an important thing also according to me. And I leave it to Anisha and Philip to also talk about the other perks that are there. Anisha, maybe.
Yeah. Go ahead, Anish.
Okay, thanks, Vijay. Yeah, that's there, right, Navid. The way this category creates impact for the end customer, that's really that's really warming to see. And what Vijay talked about, the whole experience, right? That's there. But if I was to bring some more aspects a little more operational details, right? Or some nitty gritties, right? I mean, this is India's largest electric three wheeler organization. So that's one bit that you work with the market leader in this category, right? We have best in class industry policy, employee policies, right? And then I think I talked about our job posting policy, our learning opportunities, learning platforms. Some of it is unique to LMM, some of it is of course across the Mahindra group, and I'm not going to differentiate here. But when one joins LMM, these are some of the things that come in, right? I mean, the hands-on experience one gets by working on R&D and developing that technology. I mean, I don't think our tech is outsourced or part of it is outsourced. So that hands-on experience that one gets is rare. And of course, working with EV, that is the future. So that part comes in creating something new. Peer group is really fantastic. We hire best in class talent, and one gets to work with them, learn from them, right? Working alongside such people. And it's a fast paced growing opportunity, organization with enough opportunities. So that part stays with the organization, and it's going to continue that way, right? And Philip, maybe you can add in
Yeah.
if we both have not covered something.
I think both of you covered most of it. But what I can emphasize is the intensity of engineering and work which you do is phenomenal. By far, Mahindra has the deepest experience in putting on electric vehicles in India, more than 10 years, I would say. And the entire personnel here, the engineering community here, has that depth of knowledge, depth of experience. What has gone wrong? What probably would work? We know all this stuff, right? And that is what you would gain when you come and work here. The body of knowledge which has seen a lot of things which go wrong, things go right in EV is available to you to learn from and to add to that body of knowledge to make even more exciting products and transform the landscape of India from an IC engine centric product landscape to an EV centric landscape, and through which we elevate our customers and elevate our nation and be part of the nation's success story. That's what you will get when you come and join us.
Sure, sure. I could sense, Anisha Philip, how proud you are working in Mahindra and LMM. I'm sure the viewers would have felt the same. Thank you for enlightening us. I'll be just taking quick questions, Philip, Anisha, which the audience has posted. And the first question which came was to Philip. Philip, the question reads is as we have mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, and chemical engineers, but battery is integration of all together. So a person is asking how to be a better battery engineer via which he can cover all the basics of these domains. Very interesting question, I believe.
Yeah. So this is very very critical, and as I said, I cannot emphasize enough on the concept of social engineering, which unfortunately is not taught well in our educational institutes. It's very few expertise is available in the educational institute regarding system engineering, but we practice it here. As I said earlier, all the six domains of the problem are actually looked holistically. The We bring engineers from different domains come together and work together on a problem, and they are put in the same room or same table, and they look at all aspects together. And this is what gives us the strength to attack any problem. And as person who put the question out rightly pointed out, battery is the ultimate of all these things together, right? You have the high current bus bars taking, handling the battery current, which heats up and passes that heat to the cells through the conduction, and that heat degrades the cell, right? So all these interconnecting aspects are looked at together. So when you look at the bus bar, we look at the bus bar requirements in terms of conductivity, and also how the bus bar dissipates heat in the environment so that the heat doesn't go into the cells. So there's no easy answer, but that's what we're excited about, to have these tough not problems handled as a team by pulling in all this knowledge and the domain expertise together.
Sure, Philip. Sure, Philip. That was insightful. Anisha, a question to you by the audience. It says, as the attrition rate in EV sector is high currently, I don't know, Anisha, how is LMM? I'm just repeating the audience question. As the attrition rate in EV sector is high, what are the initiatives which LMM has taken to retain the talents? I know, I understand you have given and covered it with the growth opportunities and other stuff, but any specific thing?
Yeah, so no, it's true, Naved, actually, that there is high attrition in EV space and it's a growing space. Everybody is looking for talent who knows this space or has done something in this space, right? And that's less because the space is growing. So organizations are also learning and experimenting. So it is true. There's no denial in that. We also face issues and we also do some creative, we have some creative initiatives. But if I look at attrition largely, and that will also relate to this space, right? I mean, why would people stay back or not stay back with an organization, which is one is that there it is the larger alignment of purpose and values with the organization. That's part one, and that's at a very core level, right? Second is, are they getting enough opportunities to learn and grow, right? Is their career being taken care of or being looked at? Are they able to do work which they would not do elsewhere, right? And of course, fourth is compensation and rewards, right? And we've put efforts, some space large, some maybe less, in all those 4 or 5 buckets, right? Where Vijay talked so much about the end customer, and that's where the linkage of purpose and values and what I want to do in general for the world at large comes in, right? That's the key. That's one alignment, and he talked about it so passionately, so you can see what it means for people who look at it from that lens. Second is
Yeah.
on career and learning, right? I've talked enough about it in my previous answers, that how we've put focus efforts to give people that exposure on technology, on sales, on other functions to work on this space, which is growing, which is evolving, which is futuristic, right? And largely on the compensation and rewards piece, which is very important, right? We have really done some creative. We've sort of worked towards having creative initiatives in this space to retain people, right? Now, be it on deferred bonuses, be it on the way we look at rewards, differentiation, compensation increments, etc. I will not delve details, but we have put significant efforts in this space as well, so that we are able to retain talent, and it has shown some positive impact as well.
Sure, sure, Anisha. Thank you so much. Anisha, very quickly, we have limited time. One more
Yes.
question coming to you, and I thought this should be put up. The question says that coming to sales, I find the requirements are majorly for entry level hiring. Is there an opportunity with a head level or maybe a 15-20 experienced guy at a senior position?
Okay. So thanks for the question. That's not true. All sales requirements are not at entry level. Navid can affirm that as well. We've hired a lot of people in leadership roles as well in the last 2 years. And we do look for people across functions, not just sales, at a entry level, at mid level, at department head level as well. And I'm going to say, just watch out the careers page in this space. And in the next few months, lots and lots of opportunities are going to come up as we grow the organization, as we plan to scale up. Enough opportunities across functions, including mid-level roles, right? Which is the experience that is mentioned at head levels or for laterals is going to come up. But we just not look for people at entry level, even in sales.
Sure, sure, Anisha. Vijay, to you, the question is EHCV segment. ESCV segment gears up for action in financial year 25. Many new players are joining the fray as 2 to 3.5 ton category at a faster rate. What are Mahindra's plan?
Sure, Navid. So the that's true, and the reason behind that is like I said earlier, there's a lot of focus on the logistics sector moving towards electrification, both from a sustainability aspect and also for the end customer. Running an EV and owning an EV is much more profitable than owning an ICE, and hence you see a lot of traction here. And it's right that a lot of people are entering this segment. At Mahindra, last mile mobility, by definition of our business, we are in the 0 to 2 ton category of products, right? While the larger Mahindra group is into the 2 to 3.5 ton. We have, of course, plans. We cannot detail out everything on this call, but yes, we continuously watch out for which are the emerging product areas where we can profit, put in, and there is a lot of demand. And yes, you will see in the upcoming this year, right, you will see some announcements from us in this segment also. Yeah.
Sure, sure. Anisha, last question I'll take, and why I took your name is I'll leave you. You had answered enough with reference to hiring. I wanted to understand more from Philip and Vijay on how the talent market or the analysis is looking like. Last audience question, Vijay and Philip is, what is your view on hydrogen internal combustion engine talent market in present and future?
Right. It's a very emerging, very difficult thing to predict now, how the market will pan out. Um, Definitely, hydrogen has its place in the transportation industry, but mostly for the long distance heavy duty vehicles, which need large amounts of energy storage to make a day's run. Right. I mean, you look at a 600-kilometer truck which is running on a daily basis, which trucks running on a daily running of 600 kilometers. You really cannot run that with the battery. It's impossible. So you need hydrogen, which can be filled very fast and can be stored with not so much of energy in the vehicle. Now, hydrogen is a solution, and now we have two solutions, which is fuel cell and IC engine. To me, the IC engine is not the obvious choice because a the compared to a diesel engine or a gasoline engine or even a CNG engine, the volumetric capacity of the engine comes down because it is hydrogen is much lighter. Hydrogen is a molecule which is size, which is a 1/14th the size of with methane or CNG, and so it is much easier to leak for hydrogen to leak out of a cylinder and cause problems of hydrogen accumulation outside the vehicle. And the efficiency of hydrogen engine is hardly 15, 20, or maybe 30% at best at the best case, and an average efficiency is much lower. And whereas a fuel cell, it is more efficient. It has less chances of hydrogen leaking out into the atmosphere, and of course it's more expensive today. But the way it scales up, uh, price parity with IC engine probably is not too far away. So, as while hydrogen has a place in the automotive transportation industry, I think a lot of emphasis will go towards fuel cells rather than hydrogen IC engine. And that's where probably I would see a more and more research and development happening as we move on.
Sure, sure, Philip. Vijay, very quickly, what is your take on hydrogen internal combustion engine talent market right now and the future looking like?
I think Philip has covered it when it comes to just talent. I think there is always potential because these are India is a very very vast geography. There are multiple applications. That's an advantage we have in this subcontinent, and the government plays a very very important role. If you look at how the automotive industry has shaped itself in the last few decades, right? Be it regulatory norms with respect to emissions or axle lengths in the commercial vehicle industry. So I think in the current government also you see a lot of focus on hydrogen and things there, and that will mean that there is food for everyone, right? There is enough potential for multiple applications, and yes, it's a good thing. I mean, it's also it will coexist along with the EVs. That's my take on that. Right.
Sure. Thank you so much. With this, we come to an exciting session. And Anisha, Philip, Vijay, thank you for joining us. And
Thanks for
we are
having us.
honored. I didn't realize again how our time went. Sorry for the viewers who had written questions and I was not able to take it up all the questions. I guess we need one more session. Anisha, Philip, Vijay, maybe down the line. So, friends, this is just a beginning. Be ready for more exciting sessions. Follow Tag Socials, Mahindra Social. Follow Anisha, Philip, and Vijay. If you have any questions for them, join Career Circles WhatsApp community for industry trends updates. And if you have any questions, you can write back on careercircles@tag.in. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend ahead. Looking forward for more exciting sessions. Thanks, Anisha, Philip, Vijay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thanks
Thank
everybody. Have a
you.
nice evening.
Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.